Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pot of Coffee Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Long Sr. Once again, please take a moment, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It'll take a quick second, and it helps us get in the algorithm. We're on YouTube, X, and on TikTok. With that being said, let's get into this video. All right. I just ran across this a few minutes ago, and it had me thinking. And it's becoming more and more apparent with the Cleveland media that it's the ABS uh, movement going on. The ABS movement. What I mean by the ABS movement, maybe you've heard it before, maybe you haven't. Anybody but Shador. What am I talking about? Well, 92.3 The Fan today, Baskin and Phelps were talking about the Nate Scheelhaase hire. If the Browns hire Nate Scheelhaase. And what might that entail and come along, and what might come along with that. And I found one thing very interesting, and I don't want to misquote it or anything. So once again, this is courtesy of 92.3 The Fan, Cleveland radio station, Baskin and Phelps. Okay, these are guys that are Monday through Friday. They're regulars. We're going to add this to the stage, and we're going to see what they say.
I would think that there's no way that he's not going to have major input into who his quarterback is. And he's working with Jimmy G out there. He just might say, I want Garoppolo. I want him for 2 years while I put my system in place and we look for the young guy. We'll get the young guy.
Okay. Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, people might say, well, Jay, Jimmy Garoppolo is not a bad quarterback. He was in the system with Tom Brady and out there in New England and stuff. And okay, but that's true. But see, what I got here though is I have Jimmy G career stats. Okay, so let me blow this up so I can see it because I can't see it with you, and I'll read it along with you. All right, he came in the league in 2015. He passed for 6 yards, ladies and gentlemen. The best year that Jimmy Garoppolo had was 2019 with 3,978 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. All right? But hold on. Let's do some quick calculations right here. 20 and 27 is 47. 51. Okay, hold on. We're going to go 9. 25, 45, 40, 52, 77, 9, 9, 84, 88, 95, 10, 22, 35, 44, 49, 52. All right, hold on. We had 9 and 16. It's 25. And 20 is 45. Plus 7 is 52. Plus 27 is 79. Plus 5 is 84. Plus 7 is 91. Plus 4 is 95. He had 95 touchdowns and 52 interceptions. Let's do some math real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what his touchdown interception rate for his career is now. All right. One. Oh my God. Just under 2-1. Look, you guys want to sit here and argue and get mad about Shador's numbers in 7 games, right? So let's look. Jimmy Garoppolo has had seasons and barely threw over 1,500 yards. Jimmy Garoppolo has been oft hurt. Not often, oft hurt. Okay, hold on. We're not done now. Now we're going to go to this year, to just this year, when he was with the Rams, right? Because they were talking about him coming over with Scheelhaase from the Rams to help install his system, right? Now, that's good in theory. But if you want somebody that's throwing the ball 9 times for a negative 10 yards, honestly, I'm asking you, and I want you to be honest. Do you want somebody that's dropped back 9 times and has thrown the ball backwards? Because that's what the stats say. So we can't let that type of stuff slide, you know? We can't let that, because it sounds good. Oh, well, it'll help Scheelhaase install his system and Scheelhaase will be comfortable. So then again, it's to anybody but Shador. And why is it anybody but Shador? It's because you don't like that Shador has a fan base. You don't like that Shador came in with a market already. You're just mad because you can't dictate what Shador Sanders will be, is in this present state. You're mad because you can't control the narrative. You're mad because his brother owns a media company that puts out more content and has more sway than you do in your own city. If you're so sick and tired of the Shador Sanders narrative, stop talking about it. That's all you have to do, is stop talking about it. See, if you keep your lips shut, you don't have to hear it, because you can always change the channel. You can always not tune in to anything that says Shador Sanders. But when you talk about Shador Sanders, you have no choice but to hear Shador Sanders. But you don't hear the venom and the knowledge that you speak with. You say, and then when somebody points it out, you say, oh no, you're just a super fan, and no matter what he does, he'll be wrong. But how long have you been wrong about all these quarterbacks? And I'm going to keep going back to the Josh Allen, because that's the name that all of you guys love. Or the Joe Burrow, that's the name all of you guys in the national media and the Cleveland media love. Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. Okay? Or even Baker Mayfield. But just think about it like this. The quarterbacks that you love, all but one have made it to the Super Bowl. All but one that you thought was going to be something that ain't nothing have made it to the Super Bowl since 2015. And it's not Patrick Mahomes, because y'all didn't think Patrick Mahomes was going to be this. Y'all just jumped on it, didn't act like y'all, made Patrick Mahomes this great thing. You all said that Lamar Jackson was a running back or a wide receiver, but he's the 2-time MVP at quarterback. You all said that Josh Allen was this super stud of a quarterback, but he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He hasn't even been to a Super Bowl. At least Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl, at least once in his lifetime, in his career. So Joe Burrow will always be in that upper echelon to me, because he got to the dance. He might not have won it, but at least he went. See, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, they getting all dressed up to go to the prom, to the pre-game, but they ain't got a date. Y'all pumped your homeboys up so bad to go to the dance, and they're going to be the next best thing, but they can't get there. And now you're going to say, oh, let's get Jimmy Garoppolo, who hasn't played a whole season in 5 seasons, who's oft hurt. Oh, let's bring him in for 2 years and let's get him to install this so I'm comfortable. Yeah, it's good in theory, but not in practicality. So you want to say that Maria is so smart, but you're trying to outsmart somebody else with just throwing out names. This is what goes wrong with Kevin Stefanski. The same thing you're trying to do. You don't want to develop anybody. You want everything right now. Even you older gentlemen, Baskin and Phelps, you want it microwaved. You want it right now because you've been so used to losing. And you want to see a winner before you pass. And I understand it. I understand it. That's why a lot of the Cleveland media don't even root for Cleveland. They root for other teams in the area. And that's sad. That's really, really sad. You get members in Cleveland media that root for the Giants, the Jets, the Steelers quietly, the Bengals, but yet they want to talk about the Browns and the things that they do. Well, you know what? If you're so disgusted with that and you're so sick of it, quit covering them. Quit talking about them. Quit reporting them. But you're not going to do that because that's going to stop putting money in your pocket and food on your table. See, you can't complain about the thing that gives you money. You know, you can complain about it, but if it's that bad, quit talking about it. Walk away from it. But you won't because you can't. You're addicted to it. You're addicted to it. You want to say this person is this and that person is that, but you've never played the game a day in your life. Never. Not high school, not Pee Wee, not popcorn, and not nothing. But you want to say somebody that they don't know what they're talking about and they're a Hall of Famer. Yes, I'm talking to you, Jason Lloyd. You told Steve Smith a couple of years ago when he said that Jerry Jeudy was just a guy. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. The nerve of you, a Hall of Famer, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about his fucking position. That's the equivalent of a football player telling you don't know how to write. He would laugh in his face. You already think he's a dumb Neanderthal, a jock. You have disdain for the people that you're covering, for the people that are putting your kids through college. You have disdain for these people. So stop covering. Stop. You could tell Diana Rossini, the head editor over at The Athletic, no, I'm not going to cover Fedor this week. I don't want to do that. I'm tired of it. But you know damn well if you did that, they'd tear up your contract. You're in violation of it. Stop using that as an excuse. You don't have to love it. I'm not telling you to love it. You have a right not to like it. But if you don't like it and it bothers or offends you that much that you have to speak so ill, with so much venom in your voice, and then say that's not you saying it, but it's the club telling you that, but the way you're saying it, you're turning red in the face and you have to calm down and take 30 deep breaths after you spewed it, means it's you saying it. You're using that as the guys of the people in the building or your sources are telling you that. Well, if your sources are telling you that, your sources have been dead wrong. You had Jack Jackson sit right next to you and say that Dylan Gabriel shouldn't be nowhere near a football field. But yeah, y'all were saying he was a supercomputer and you were doing that and towing the company line that Kevin Stefanski and inside the building was giving you when you knew better with your own eyes. But see, you were so worried about your paycheck. You're so dependent on that week to week thing of yours because you live outside your means. Interesting. So you want to tell a billionaire how to run his business. See, this man was a billionaire before he even got to the Browns. He spent billions of dollars to get it, so he was already a billionaire. You know, and you want to get mad about how he ran his business or how he allegedly fucked over or screwed over a certain group of people. Well, you know what? Stop going to his gas stations. Stop buying his product. Stop covering his product. Boy. But you're not because it gives you money. Anything that has no do puts money in your pocket. So quit bitching about it. Because the moment you stop covering is the moment you don't have no money coming in. None. Because your baseball reports ain't that damn good. You talk like you know everything, like you did everything. You ain't did nothing but sat at a table and ate all your damn life. We're gonna stop this. We're gonna stop this individual hate with an agenda without facts. Because somebody else said this about that person and I trust them, then that's what it is. Yeah, well, it gets you hurt in a lot of ways in life. You know what I'm saying? That's like being guilty by association. You're trying to fit in. You stand out already. Don't quit trying to fit in and blend out. All of you. You're in the media. You're supposed to stand out. You're supposed to report the facts, not sway the facts. If you reported the facts, that Shador didn't play well. He had a lot of growing pain, but he improved in some areas week to week. People would not kill you. See, you can't give him his just due, but you want to overemphasize his failures. That's why you're. That's why you seem to always be hated upon, as you would say, or at the aunties and at your head, because you don't know how to speak to people or speak about people. You speak about people as if you're better than them when you haven't even done half the things they've done in their life, and they're half the age of you. That's why you're getting checked and being called racist and being called these other words that you're being called. But you don't see it because it's your point of view and it's your way of life and it's your circle that you've been around. See, I've lived in a lot of different places. I've dealt with a lot of different races. I can speak to anyone and I can understand a lot of things from different perspectives because I know I don't know all. I don't presume to know all, even about what I'm talking about, because I could be dead wrong. And if I am, I will come back and say I was wrong on this fact, and I was like, thank you for the correction, sir or ma'am, whoever did it in my chat. And I've done that before. But you media won't do it because you're supposed to be the authority. You're not an authority of anything but your own ignorance. Yeah, y'all gonna tighten up because I'm about to be on y'all head and I'm going to blow this thing up. I'm about to blow it wide open. See, y'all thought y'all had it bad with just G. Bush, but there's a lot. See, it's FP13s and simply ball dropping and snacks and myself now and Money Man, you already know. We started to call all y'all out. And there's some aunties out there too. What's the sister's name? The nurse, Smalls, Miss Smalls. We're starting to call y'all out. And y'all don't like it because you're being held to your feet to the fire because nobody's ever checked your writing or your reporting. And now that we're checking in and seeing that you're embellishing in your stories, you're yeah. Now you got to start doing work. Now you got to sit down in front of your computer for 3 hours and watch boring film. Now you have to actually ask questions of how do you watch film? What am I looking at when I watch it? What am I looking for when I watch it? How do I decide? Do I look at the whole play or do I look at the player? Do I watch the ball, the quarterback, or do I look at the player I'm looking at? When do I look at the line? Bet you guys don't even know none of that. Y'all got to do better in the media, man. That's why you're getting pushed out by YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter or X and all these other platforms and all this new age media, as you call it, because they're not buying the old shit no more. Y'all have to do better as media, or you will be replaced as media. Because print media is going out and it's going to video media, streaming media. Y'all know that. Y'all see the numbers. All right, that's it for me. It's another episode of the Pot of Coffee Podcast. Like I said, I didn't want to be on here this long, but I ran across that Baskin and Phelps short, and I wanted to share it with you guys. That was wild to me. I still don't understand how you can just pull a guy that hasn't been played a full season in years, in 5 seasons, and say, "Oh, just bring him in so we can install this offense and we'll run for him for 34 games." That's 2 seasons, 17 games, 17 times 17, 34. 17 plus 17 is 34. So for 34 games, he might not work with the last 34 seconds in the game. And then what? Then what you gonna do? And he's under contract. So how you gonna trade him? See, it's not like a transport portal where he can just bring him with him. Think out your solutions before you just blurt them out. Because you're showing your ignorance and your disdain for what is on the roster. Like I said, if you don't like it, stop talking about it. It'll stop popping up on your feeds. With that, y'all be safe. Have a great night. Once again, it's the Pot of Coffee Podcast. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe at Pot of Coffee 1203 on YouTube, X, and on TikTok. Thank you. Have a great night. Peace.